Hey guys, welcome back to A Little Less Lisa, and welcome to a video about excess skin after weight loss. So let me give you a little bit of background before I show you and talk to you about what's going on. I am a 57-year-old postmenopausal woman, and over the course of the last 40 weeks or so, I have lost just right around 50 pounds. So I started at 183.8 pounds. I now am in sort of a maintenance range around the 133 pound mark and have been maintaining that weight loss now for, I think, about 5 months or so. And I don't like what I see in the mirror. Let me rephrase that. I love what I see in the mirror, but with some significant weight loss generally comes loose skin, right? Now, I am fortunate in that I lost about 85 pounds back in 2006 and did a tummy tuck at that time, and it was very successful. I think my surgeon did an absolutely fantastic job. It held even while I was pregnant with my twins in 2008. They were born in the very, very beginning of 2009. They're about to turn 16 in a few days. But yeah, I mean, everything held up and it still looks great. So even though I ended up gaining essentially, 40, at one point 50 pounds, over what I was after I lost the weight and had the tummy tuck at that time, that part stayed pretty well intact. So I don't have that to deal with. However, even after losing weight the first time, one of the things that really bothered me was my arms. I always had that flab, and even though I would say I think I'm in better shape now than I was back in 2006, 2007 when I originally lost that weight, I hate that flapping under part of my arm. And so I have decided to have skin removal surgery. In addition to having that done, I am going to have a breast lift and I am going to have my breast implants, which I had done in 2002, if I'm not mistaken. Might have been the spring of 2003. I can't quite remember. But I've had these for well over 20 years, let's say that. And at the time, every surgeon that I consulted with regarding the breast augmentation told me to get a breast lift, that, my breasts were sagging and, my nipples needed to be raised, whatever, and I didn't want to do it. I mean, they didn't say I had to, but it was their recommendation that if I wanted the best results, I should have a breast lift in addition to getting the implants. And I was afraid about the scars. I was afraid that my breasts were going to look like Franken boobs. And I just, I was 35 years old or something at the time. And I thought, I'm young still. I don't want my breast to have a whole bunch of scars around it, because, when you have an augmentation, they generally just go under the breast, so you never see the scar that you have from a breast augmentation. Now sometimes they go through the belly button, they go like through the armpit, whatever it is, but still you're not seeing a scar, right? And I have regretted that decision pretty much since the day I had my implants. I'm not going to tell you the one time that I really, really despise the fact that I didn't have my implant or didn't do a breast lift. But every time that happens, I absolutely hate it. I hate the way they look. And so I've now decided, okay, you know what? We're doing the arms. We're going to be up here anyway. Lisa, get the lift, because you know what? I would like to not feel like I have to wear a bra all the time. And I feel like I have to wear a bra because the tissue that covers my implant still sags, and it just is not attractive looking. And in addition to that, I had these implants put in when I was about 35 pounds heavier or so than I am now. And while they were probably still a little on the large side, they were certainly more appropriately sized for the body frame that I had at that time. But now these girls are big. I mean, let me sort of turn, I don't even know if you can really even tell here. I'll, insert some pictures or whatever, not naked, of course, but they're big. I mean, even my surgeon was like, wow. And I'm like, I know, anyway. So I'm going to have my implants removed, but let's talk about, like I said, more of the losing weight, loose skin. Is it something you should consider doing? Because like I said, I can also talk about my tummy tuck that I had done back in, like I said, 2007, I think it was. And, why I did it, all that kind of thing. And what I hope for my results, and just kind of take you on kind of the beginning of this, and then I'll take you through my skin removal surgery process and all that goes into that and what happens after it and recovery along the way. So let's talk about what I've done and what I'm having done. So after I lost about 85 pounds back in 2006, I really did not like what I referred to as my Shar-Pei skin. So I wouldn't say that I had a lot of fat in my abdomen, but I did have a lot of loose skin, and it literally to me looked like a Shar-Pei dog. Like when I would stand up and I would look down at my stomach, it was just this wrinkly, crinkly skin that was on my abdomen. And so I had at that time a tummy tuck. Now, should I have done at the time a full, circumferential body lift? Certainly my surgeon didn't say to me, unlike my breasts, where all the surgeons were like, dude, you should have a lift at the same time. None of the surgeons that I consulted with on the tummy tuck portion said, you really need to do a 360. I think my backside, was fairly decent. Now I did have some liposuction done on my flanks as well as my inner knees and maybe my inner thighs. I can't remember now. I definitely had it on my flanks. So, the back part of your hip kind of deal. And so, I, like I said, was extremely pleased with the results of my tummy tuck. Like I said, it survived having twins and, being out to here with being pregnant with twins. In fact, I saw that plastic surgeon maybe a year or so after I had the twins, because I wanted to talk about my breast implants. It must have been a few years after, because I think I had had my breast implants for maybe it may have been 10, 11 years at that time. And I didn't know if you had to replace them. You always kind of hear about this 10-year mark for breast implants. And so I didn't know, do I have to change them out? What kind of the process was. And anyway, I remember telling him, and I had twins, whatever it was, a couple years before. And he's like, wow. He's like, you look amazing. And I'm like, it was all you. I'm like, you did an incredible job. He obviously sewed my, whatever those muscles are that split when you generally get pregnant and with childbirth and whatever. Is it your abdominal rectus? Whatever that is, that generally when you have abdominoplasty, a tummy tuck, they sew those muscles back together again so that they're tight. Well, obviously, like I said, he did an outstanding job, because those suckers are together and they remain together, like I said, through pregnancy with twins. So really, really happy with that. Now, I will tell you that I do feel like I have a little bit of lax skin at the top, sort of underneath my, kind of right below my rib cage, and sort of the very bottom of my rib cage, which I am hoping to get maybe a little benefit from the breast lift, that it might pull some of that skin up, since obviously he is going to be pulling up from the bottom too, that it might help with that skin. If it doesn't, it doesn't. It's not something that I'm super concerned about. What I am super concerned about are, like I said, my flappy arms. So I'm not going to flex. I'm just going to show you what this is now. But this is what we're dealing with, right? So all of this essentially is loose skin. Yeah, I mean, obviously there's a little bit of fat in here, not a ton. There's definitely some that have gone away. And, this basically then will mean they will, make an incision along here to my elbow up right into my armpit. And all of this will go away like that. And I will have a much, more improved arm. And really why I want it is because this is what my upper arm looks like. So if I kind of just go like this is what my arm could look like, right? When I'm out doing whatever and moving, like I am very, very proud of the progress that I have made through strength training with my upper body, especially. I mean, I feel strong. I feel like I look strong, my back muscles and my shoulders and my deltoids and my bicep. Like I just feel like I look strong. And then I see this and it just, I don't like it. And so I'm going to do something about it. So the surgeon I am using is Dr. Capella, and he is actually in New Jersey. And what he's really well known for is doing plastic surgery post significant weight loss. Pretty much all of his patients have gone through extreme weight loss. And so he has done plastic surgery on those people to remove excess skin and things like that. So he's done a ton of, lower body lifts, full body circumferential lifts, brachioplasty, which is what I'm having done. I think he actually calls it an upper body lift, and thigh surgery, that kind of thing, which is what my mom is having. So my mom is the one actually who found him. So when I went with her to do her pre-op appointment in October, I did a consultation with him to talk about doing brachioplasty, a breast lift, and removing my implants. Although I think at the time I said, replacing my implants, but we'll talk about that in a second. So that's how we found the surgeon. I obviously have seen I've seen his results. He must have over 1,000 different patients before and after pictures online on his website. But obviously I've seen what he's done for my mom. So I know firsthand what results look like and things like that. And he's phenomenal. I love his bedside manner. He's great. I really like the way he approaches things, and he's very common sense, which, I appreciate. So, like I said, I am going to have brachioplasty, which means that they're going to, like I said, make an incision around here, and then they bring these two together, and, then it will look like that. But I will have a scar that basically goes on the inside of my arm from here to here. I'm glad I'm having it. So my surgery, I think I probably already said this, is scheduled for February 5th. And I feel like that'll be a good amount of time to give my body time to heal. And, obviously the scar is still going to be really noticeable this summer, but, it should be very, very fully healed and flattened, etc. He's perfected, or he actually started a stitching technique that he actually calls like a pie crust. So let me tell you, and I'm warning you now, it is not a pretty looking scar. It literally looks like a pie crust. You know how like a pie crust is like pinched and like 3D? Like that's what my mother's incisions looked like, both around her whole body and in the arm where he redid her arm, her brachioplasty. It is not pretty, but he has, like I said, thousands and thousands of patients that he has done that clearly he wouldn't still be doing this if it didn't work. And my mom can attest to the fact that after about 8 weeks or so, all of a sudden they just flatten. So you have this very 3D raised looking, hideous in my mind, pie crust scar that then, and it sutures and, where he cut and sewed together to then, she said it literally, it's like one day. And I remember she said that the woman in the office told her, like, you might even hear like some popping sounds. And she said she did. And then literally she looked down because it happened on her stomach, like the lower body lift scars first. all of a sudden they were just like flat. Now they're still red, obviously they're still healing, all of those kind of things, and you should expect that for at least kind of the first year. It really takes a year for those scars. I mean, I remember that with my tummy tuck, that, you know, it took a good year for them to turn white and really kind of more disappear into, you know, to look more skin-like as opposed to red. It just takes a while. But I figure the worst of it will be done by the time we hit warm weather here in New York, which really isn't until like July. You know, then when I'll want to be wearing sleeveless tops. And I cannot wait, you guys. I cannot wait to be able to wear, you know, what I'm wearing now and not feel like, you know, when I wave that I'm flapping in the wind. I just really don't like it. Now, are some people going to think I'm vain to do this? 100%. I am. But it is important to me, and it's something that's going to make me feel better about what I see in the mirror. You know, it will also make clothing fit better, etc. in the arms, because, you know, right now this is just extra stuff that doesn't need to be there, and my clothes will fit better. My clothes will also fit better when this is done. So like I said, we're going to do a lift and we're going to remove the implants. Now, I do fully expect to have new implants put back in at some point in the future, maybe, you know, 6 months. I'll ask him how long I need to wait after having this surgery before having new implants put back in. But I can tell you right now, especially based on the fact that I just had a mammogram, how little actual breast tissue I have left after losing weight is virtually none. I mean, I will be no more than an A cup when he's done doing this. Right now, I'm about a 32D to double D, and yeah, this is going to take this down tremendously. I should share this kind of funny story with you. So Hannah, you know, I mean, I had this done whatever, 9 years or 8 years or whatever it was before the twins were born. So they've only known me with these breasts. In fact, even my older two kids, they don't remember what my son was only, like I said, like 15 months or whatever when I had it done. And our daughter was only like 4.5 or something when I had it done. So, you know, they don't remember what my boobs looked like before I had breast implants. But Hannah one day came in and she said something about, you know, breasts or whatever. And I said, yeah, honey, I'm like, you know, she has a lovely figure. She really does. And she has, for me, you know, the appropriate sized chest for her frame, right? She's very petite, whatever. I think she, like I said, is perfectly proportioned. But obviously she must feel like maybe she would like a little more, you know, where the girls are concerned. And, you know, if that's something that she wants to do when she's an adult, then I will fully support her in that. Because I know I did. I hated having very small breasts. And anyway, she said something and I said, yeah, honey, I'm like, you know, I'm sorry, but you were doomed from the beginning. I mean, Nana has nothing, you know, her other grandmother, my husband's mother, is very, very small chest or whatever. And she said, well, but what about you? And I said, honey, these are implants. These aren't mine. And she's like, what? She was just beside herself. She, I think, thought she had this great chance. I'm like, oh no, honey, no, trust me. You come by what you have naturally, and that's just what it is. So she will see after I have this surgery what I really look like, and then she hopefully will not be so feeling like she was so misled. So anyway, just a little funny anecdote to share with you. But yeah, I'm excited. I'm really, like I said, I'm excited for all of it, to be honest with you. I'm excited to not have such large breasts now. While yes, I really kind of liked it when I was in my 30s and early 40s, you know, now that I'm in my honestly mid to late 50s, yeah, this just to me is not super appropriate. I mean, what am I going to be, 80 years old, you know, in a nursing home or whatever with these big boobs? It's sort of how I feel about people when they get like do those piercings and like when they do the, I don't know what, their gauge or whatever in their ears, and now they have these holes that are like this big in their ears, or, you know, people that have tattoos all over. I'm like, did you ever think about what you're gonna look like when you're 85 years old and, like I said, in the nursing home? And just, yeah, it's just not a good look. These girls don't need to be this big, like I said, when I'm getting older and becoming a grandma and all that kind of thing. It was fun and great, you know, when we were still going out to bars and whatever, even with my husband. But it's time for these to be brought back down to a more manageable size. So yeah, I will take you on along the whole journey, but I wanted to kind of get this video out here first so you know what we're working with. I will, you know, insert here some sort of before pictures so we all have a good idea of what this whole thing looks like before surgery. But yeah, I'm excited. I mean, will I be nervous as we get closer to the day? Absolutely. It's basically, yeah, I'm basically about 30 or so days out from surgery. So as we get closer, I'll, you know, do some follow-up. I'll do a video after I go have my pre-op meeting the week before and, you know, talk about some of those things. Like I said, I am going to talk to him to see if there's any possibility he can do a fat transfer. Since I know he's not comfortable putting new implants in at this time, I'm wondering if he might be willing to do a fat transfer and, you know, maybe take some using liposuction like out of my kind of like, oh, I don't know, like my flanks and maybe like the back sort of outside of my thighs, that kind of thing, where I certainly do still have some fat there, and see if that's a possibility. So I'll give you an update on that after I talk to him towards the end of January. But yeah, like I said, I am excited, and I'm really, really excited to see what my upper body looks like when it is just a toned, you know, no loose skin, flabby skin look. I'm just, like I said, I just am so excited to see what my full results look like after my very hard and the work that I've put into working on my strength and upper body and muscle development and all of that. So yeah, excited to take you guys all along. Please drop any, you know, questions or things that you have in the comments below. I will try to answer them. And if not, I will try to get answers from my surgeon when I see him. But yeah, excited to go on this journey with you all. And if you enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you want to make sure that you don't miss any of these future videos, click the subscribe button and the notification bell below. That way you will know every time I upload a video. If you want to keep on watching, there'll be another video over here in the corner for you to watch. And remember, kindness and hate spread the same. The choice is yours. I'll see you in the next video, guys. Take care. Bye-bye.